Like, I want you to understand what we're actually doing here. Look, the last time that Bitcoin was at these same exact prices, Ethereum was at $4,100. So ETH was right here. Okay. Look at that. ETH topped out, so we can even call it right here, at this top on Bitcoin. Okay. ETH nukes straight down with Bitcoin. Oops. Right here. Okay. Nukes straight down. So in the same time frame, they both pull back, but ETH pulled back much harder. Bitcoin pumps up. Bitcoin is back at its all-time highs. ETH is only at $2,400 compared to $4,100 last time. So what I'm trying to say is, not only is there going to be more upside due to Bitcoin going to price discovery, correct, but you're now going to be able to capture so much more of that move from Ethereum into price discovery because the price of Ethereum is so much lower right now compared to Bitcoin. What does that mean for the ETH BTC chart? Okay, so pay attention to the way that I'm thinking about this. So the value of Ethereum compared to Bitcoin has gone down for the last 4 or 5 years, which makes sense because as Bitcoin drew down, Ethereum drew down harder. Okay. So now Bitcoin is back up to its previous all-time highs, and Ethereum is worth much less than what it was last time Bitcoin was at these levels. So therefore, that ETH divided by Bitcoin chart, the value of Ethereum denominated in Bitcoin, is now lower. ETH is worth less compared to Bitcoin, okay, right now. So that's this chart, ETH BTC, which you can see down only, right? So was ETH a great investment last time when we were pumping from here up into here? Yes. Was it a great investment from here up into here? Yes. But even more so here up into here and above, is ETH going to be a good investment? Why? Because it is so much less valuable compared to Bitcoin than it was in December. So look, December right here, its last local top before we G'd it hard, right? Look at that. See? It's confluent. So ETH topped. I'll show you all three. Look at this. Okay, look at this. Okay. So this in the middle is Bitcoin. Bitcoin tops here, relatively. Ethereum tops here at the same time. So they top at the same time. So the value of Ethereum here on the top, this is the alt season indicator. Whenever this starts pumping, that tells you we're in alt season. Okay, so it hasn't yet happened yet this cycle. Very important analysis right here to understand this. So ETH divided by Bitcoin, local top right here, pumps right here. Sure. So we'll do a ray. Oops. Oops. What the fuck? Okay. All right. Top's right there. So that's the value of Ethereum divided by Bitcoin. If this chart's going down, ETH is losing against Bitcoin. This is going up. Bitcoin or Ethereum's outperforming Bitcoin. So we top here. We top here. So after we topped on Bitcoin and started to distribute over here, so Bitcoin's value stayed relatively the same as it was distributing in this range. So distributing, this was this distribution right here, right? It was distributing right here. As this was distributing, ETH started dumping, right? It started coming down. So because the price of Bitcoin was moving sideways, but the price of Ethereum was going down, this chart started nuking straight down because Ethereum was losing value against Bitcoin. And then finally, Bitcoin does obviously pull back hard here. And during that pullback, Ethereum obviously pulled back even harder. So this chart continued to nuke hard until, look at this. We just so happened to come right back down into our all-time low demand zone from the previous 2 cycles. So this was the lowest that the ETH BTC pair has ever been in the last 3 cycles. We retraced the entire pump from 2021 cycle. We retraced this entire pump, right, all the way back into this demand zone, and then look where we get a bounce immediately. Boom, right here. So that means what? Because the value of Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin has drawn down so much, the bet here is that traders are finally seeing the value in rotating capital into Ethereum over Bitcoin because there's a lot of upside, a lot of a catch-up trade to take place for Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin. This would be the maximum RR, best RR trade right now. So the risk to reward here is big because you have very little risk because this chart has never really come down lower than this level, but very, very, very high reward because you can get a pump all the way back up into here. Okay. So what you saw over the last last week or two is you're seeing Ethereum is actually starting to pump harder than Bitcoin on green days, which I've been paying attention to. Okay. And you see that with this ETH BTC chart. What the fuck? No way. My mouse just died. Hold on. Matrix attack. Must be Logan and Kamala. Logan and the border czar Kamala Harris seem to have... here we go. I got it back. Defeated them. Okay. So the whole point I'm trying to make here, all right, is that this ETH BTC chart is due to pump because we've hit this very low level demand zone. Bitcoin's at its previous all-time high, okay, that we set before, and ETH is half the price, a little bit more than half the price of what it was last time. So you have so much more potential for a return, so much more RR by aping into ETH in here, because the last time Bitcoin was at this price, ETH was up in here. So not only do you have all of this move just to get back into even, right? So you have this whole move just to get back to even value where we were last time, which is right here, right? So you have this move just to get back to even from this move. But then as Bitcoin goes into price discovery and we go to about 140, 150,000, right? And we start pumping up into here. As this move takes place, now, if this continues to pump and ETH is outperforming Bitcoin, even as Bitcoin's moving into price discovery and going up, that means that ETH has to be moving up and appreciating faster than what Bitcoin is. And that's where you're going to see this fucking boom straight up into 7,000, 8,000 ETH, right? That's what we're looking to do. If Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin on this next leg up higher, we're fucking printing. Because that means Ethereum has to be appreciating faster to Bitcoin, which would make sense, which is why you've seen ETH up more on green days than Bitcoin. If you pay attention, look up how much percentage ETH is up compared to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's up 2% on the day, ETH is like up 6%. That's good. That means it's outperforming to the upside. That's when you see that ETH BTC chart start to pump. You start to see ETH catch up in value compared to Bitcoin. That's alt season. When the very top chart I have showing right now, oh shit, you can't even see it. Fuck. Okay. Whenever that chart at the very top is pumping, that means ETH is doing better than Bitcoin. Okay. So Bobby asked, do you think we dip back into the demand zone, one last buying opportunity? It's not a very big move at all to get back on this little demand zone. So it could, I wouldn't necessarily bet on it. I would more so at this point in time be tracking this others chart and the fact that we literally came right back into this liquidity right here, or into this mid-range right here, I would be using this chart to bid, and I would be using the normal ETH chart to bid. So I would be doing this. So if you get back in here, I'm bidding here. If you get back into here, I'm bidding here. Okay. I wouldn't necessarily use this BTC chart. This is like cherry on top, right? Once this starts moving up, you're printing. Okay.